Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Another pretty piss poor week, but I'm pretty sure most people had a pretty piss poor week as well, so kind of even itself out a little bit. If you scored anywhere between 1,000 to 1,100, I think you went pretty well. I think if you scored well above 1,100, you're a diehard Rabbitohs fan. So, pretty bleh about my score, but I actually managed to get green arrows with 1,032. Only 471 green arrows, so kind of balanced myself out a little bit after last week's disaster. 7,696, top 17%. 3 out of 10 league wins. Karaz cost me the other 7. Literally, the other 7 rounds, the other 7 matchups that I had, Karaz cost me the win. So, that was excellent. So, Karaz has put a little bit of a spanner in the works for trades going into this week. So, anyway, let's go over my team and my scores in each player, and I'll talk about my thoughts in what I'm thinking about doing trade-wise, my thoughts about planning ahead for the buys, the round 13 buys and State of Origin and that messy time frame. So stick with me, I'll go over everything. I've still got 2 boosts, got 33 trades left, so I haven't burnt through too many, but I would have liked to have saved a couple more, but things happen. But I'm not too phased. 2 boosters are fine. So Harry Grant with a 31. Now, I watched that game and Grant doesn't look like... It was a messy game. Let's just say that it was a very, very messy shit game. But I'm starting to feel that the whole not owning Grant thing isn't going to necessarily hurt you too much this year. I'm sure he will get plays where he will score very well, but I think that you can more than get away with not owning him this year. I put the R on Sonny Luke. He only got 21. Like that. The Knights turned up to that game and they really put it to the Panthers. I actually thought the Knights were going to hold on. I really did. The crowd there was huge. The Panthers looked shell-shocked. That's what I reckon. The Knights came out so well that I generally think that the Panthers were shell-shocked and they didn't know how to handle it, which is concerning. Yeah. So, Sonny Luke got a 21. Fanua Blake. Now, I traded him in this week. I went Stefano to Fanua Blake, and it paid off very nicely. A try in the first 4 minutes. Man. He's obviously not going to do that every single week, but I'll take a 79. 100%. I think that Fanua Blake is one of those players that if he can find that form that he did from a couple of years ago, there's a lot of people out there that own Tarpany and they own Haas, and, I just think that you don't have to. Maybe Payne Haas is a must-have for some people, but don't be surprised leading into Origin and during that Origin time frame where people will be wasting trades getting him in and out of the side constantly. And I think if you don't own Payne Haas, I think you can take advantage of not owning him during that time frame when people are wasting trades getting him in and out of your side. So Fanua Blake did a job, 79, pretty happy with that. Welch, 51. Welch is actually going to start making a bit of money now. It won't be much, but I think that he can get up to that 520 range, 530 range, which could be a decent leg up to another fallen gun. So I am eyeing that off. I do want Tarpany after their bye. So I am thinking about going a Welch to Tarpany and running that Fanua Blake Tarpany combination, but we'll see. Kepi Pele didn't play. Kepi got dropped for Woods. No idea. I can't understand the thought process behind that, but there's methods to madnesses out there, and yeah. Another one of my trades this week, I went Carrigan to Madison, and 89. Unbelievable. Madison he's obviously a SuperCoach gun. He's obviously not going to get 89s every single week. He's good for 100. He has proven that he can do that. But I'm so glad that I finally stuck to my word and my original plan of getting rid of Carrigan and stuck with Maddo. I'm very happy that I didn't go Sean Lane. Sean Lane will find form and he will score very, very well. But if I went with my Sean Lane original plan a couple of weeks ago, he would have scored very poorly over the last 2 weeks. So Maddo's a gun. People are going to be trying to get him in this week. 710k. He will go up again. So the Eels are finally starting to build a little bit of traction now that they've got that forward rotation back. So I really want to start adding a little bit more Eels to my side as well as Sharks into my side, given their draw. So one of my trades this week is going to be an Eel, but we'll get into that when I talk about my trades. So Hosking 62, Preston. The Bulldogs are depleted. Preston still managed to get 60 or 59. He didn't do anything. Well, he didn't really seem like he did anything. So he's going to make more money as well. I'm fairly sure he's got a low break even this week. Low comparable to others. So Jack Johns, 27. It's come to that point now with Jack Johns, if you do own him, where you might need to move him on now. I think with Kurt Mann back on the roster, he's going to start chewing into a lot of minutes. I don't think Johns is going to get the minutes required for him to start making more cash. I think he's done his job. He's gotten up to 330 nearly. Look, there's options that I'll go over. Johns will be exiting my side this week. So we'll go over that. Jackson Ford, 40. Ford's a weird one. I feel like Ford is... You're not going to get much out of Ford outside of that 40 to 60 range. He might get you that odd 70. But I think if you're looking for someone who's just going to get you that average 50 points a game, I think Ford's going to be your man. You could probably plug him into your reserves or use him as a NPR, maybe if you want to do an AR. But I think Jackson Ford is definitely one of those players where once he peaks in price, you can definitely move him on to someone better. So I'm keeping a close eye on Ford going forward. I don't know what I'm going to do with him, but he is under the spotlight. Cleary updated to 86. I think he got like 35 points in updates, which is pretty expected, to be honest. Hines with an 89. Wow. Like, I went into that game, the Sharks versus the Roosters, and I thought, the Sharks, the Roosters, it'll be a very tight game. Hines will probably score low. It'll be one of those, You know, it was one of those games where you're more than happy to not put the C on Hines. He outscored Cleary, and Cleary played a side that people are not giving too much credit to, the Knights. Now, any other day of the week, the Panthers probably put the sword to the Knights, but it was Hines who outscored Cleary this time around. So I think Hines is definitely putting his front foot forward in regards to an Origin selection this year. I think that I don't rate Luai. I think that if you take Cleary away from Luai is a very average player. And if they can build a partnership right now between Cleary and Hines, I think that New South Wales can definitely benefit from that going forward over the next few years. I think the whole Cleary, the whole Cleary Luai situation, I think it's had its day. I think going forward, you need to start looking at Hines and really start considering him. Dillbags, he let me down again this week. I don't know what the go is with Parramatta and utilising Dylan Brown, but they seem to be loving going down Moses' side at the moment because Moses has taken control of the games completely, and Dylan's kind of just doing a job a little bit there, and he's getting his base work done. But I mean, 60 without any attacking stats relatively. Like, I think I'm pretty sure he didn't get a try assist, he didn't get a try. So he's literally a try away from a 90 score, or a TA away from a decent score. So I think the people who got Cody Walker instead of Dylan Brown, congrats to you. Like, you timed that very well. Got the points that you need. But I think going forward over the next 5 to 6 rounds, I think you would rather cash out your Cody Walker money that you've made and go down to Dylan Brown now that he's relatively bottomed in price. I think you'll start to see Walker get his rocks, not diamonds, over the next few weeks. I could definitely be wrong, but history does repeat itself, and if it doesn't repeat itself, it rhymes. So I'm hopeful that Dylan Brown starts to score well, but the last couple of weeks has been a big disappointment. Now, Val Holmes he got a 46 with a try. That's so bad for Val Holmes. I'd be pretty confident to go over his scores over the last 3 years, and I'm fairly sure he has always scored well when he has gotten a try. And 46 with a try, that's really bad. If Carraz didn't get injured this round, I was trading Val Holmes out. Yeah. The rest of my team kind of just didn't really do much. I mean, look at the bench. Khan and Warbrick both scored in the 60s. Wow. Wouldn't that have been nice? So Taruva, a 27. Again, players like Taruva, I don't think there's much upside at all to Taruva. I think once Taruva starts to top out in price, I think you could definitely get away with not owning Taruva. He's just at such an awkward price. Lamelu, 42. I'm keeping an eye on him at the moment. I'm going to be definitely checking teams lists because I'm pretty sure Kafusi is due back, and it'll be interesting to see if he maintains his starting spot, or if he shares it with Kafusi, or if he just gets turfed. He's definitely on my chopping block as he's done his job. He's made me 140k. That's what I wanted from him. So yeah, Turbo 57 and a Walsh 101. Let's go over my thought process for my trades, because I'm not 100% on what my trades will be. But I'm going to move Lemieux back up to 2RF. Garrick comes into the starting spot. Karaz is gone. As much as I would love to keep him, because he probably will be back in about 4 weeks, I'm going to bring in Penasini. Now, Penasini's got a very low break even. He's scoring very well. Eels have a great draw coming up. He plays the bye rounds. I will enjoy owning him. I think he is an absolute gun. I think he is one of the centers. Like, he is the future of the center pairings at the Eels right now. I think he's only going to get better, and I think at 613k, I think Penasini is definitely a 700k player. So I'm bringing him in. I'm looking at Lemieux down to a 1 Jacob Host. Host comes in. Colin Matungi is out for 6 to 8 weeks. I think if you are a fringe bunnies forward, you are going to be loving life right now. And I think Jacob Host is going to get a lot of minutes with a negative BE. So he will make you cash. Here's my thought now. So if I activate my boost, I need to consider moving on Johns, like I said at the start, or do I downgrade someone like Cam Pereira down to someone like a Sloan, or do I plug the Pele hole up at front row and bring in someone like Mawali? Now, I need to start thinking about building my team value and eliminating players in my side that is not going to benefit my side at all. It's a hard one. I can either just keep the 2 trades this week and save a boost again, or I consider fixing some problems in my side, like the Pele, maybe even a Kepi. If Kepi doesn't get named again, I potentially could look at Kepi down to Mawali and bank 120, 130k from that trade alone. So, not quite sure what I'm doing yet, but let's just go over. For example, like if I did go a Khan down to Sloan, that's 178k in the bank. Khan's done his job. He's got a high break even. Slow's got a low break even. He plays the bye rounds. He's not in my playing side, but he could definitely be in my playing side after this week. I definitely wouldn't play Sloan this week against the Roosters. I think the Roosters touch them up. But that's one option with 170k. So 178k in the bank. So that's my current plan. I do want to, we'll go over my idea for what I would do with Jack Johns. So if I was to go over Jack Johns, if I'd reverse that trade and I'd go to Jack Johns, let's say I want to upgrade him. At 417k in the bank, it makes life a little bit difficult because that is such an awkward price to bring in a player. But if you were to have a look at their 3rd round average, there really isn't much going on here right now. There really isn't much. The only ones that relatively stand out, kinda, would be Eisenhuth, because he's got his dual. there's not much. There really isn't. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to do yet with Jack Johns. It'll be interesting. But I'll let everybody know exactly what I'll be doing with my trades with a community post just before the weekend kicks off. But until then, those are my guaranteed trades right now. So I'm definitely bringing in Penasini, and I'm definitely bringing in Jacob Host. So pretty happy with that. But we'll see what the SuperCoach gods dish out to everyone this week. Until then, thanks for tuning in. Drop your trades in the comments for me. Drop how you scored on the weekend. Let me know what you think about doing for your buyer planning. I will try and get back to as many people as I can. So cheers for listening, and I will talk to everybody soon.